Investigators in the Germanwings plane crash say the co-pilot brought down the plane deliberately. All 150 people on board were killed. Saudi-led airstrikes target rebels in Yemen. The U.S. says it provided logistical and intelligence support for the airstrikes. And for the second year in a row, the Toronto Raptors will be going to the playoffs.
Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Chantilly Post, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Investigators say the co-pilot of the Germanwings flight that slammed into the Alps on Tuesday deliberately crashed the plane.
Le décor a commencé depuis hier après-midi.
The French prosecutor in charge of the investigation made the announcement this morning at a news conference. He says the cockpit voice recorded revealed the final moments of the doomed plane. Investigators say co-pilot Andres Lupitz took control of the plane when the chief pilot left the cockpit to go to the washroom. They say they could hear Lupitz click the button that caused the plane to descend. They say that can only happen intentionally. The pilot can be heard pounding on the cockpit door to get back in, but Lupitz doesn't respond. He can be heard over the voice recorder breathing, but doesn't speak. The plane did not issue a distress call or respond to air control communications. It took 8 minutes until the plane shattered into the French Alps. The CEO of Lufthansa says he's speechless over the revelations. Lupitz was 28 years old. He passed his recent medical test, but pilots are not given psychological testing. And the village closest to the crash site is preparing for the families of the crash victims. The town is setting up a memorial and laying wreaths for the families who have lost their loved ones in the Germanwings crash. Close to 500 relatives are expected to attend a youth center that has been turned into a shrine. Interpreters, psychologists, and doctors will be on the site to assist family members. The families will also get to ask questions and be taken closer to the crash site. To the Middle East now, where people in Yemen are rallying in the streets in a sign of support of Saudi-led airstrikes against local rebels. Warplanes have struck sites in Sana'a targeting rebels fighting to oust the country's president from power. Anti-aircraft fire lit up the sky last night as coalition's planes hit multiple targets, including a nearby airport and military base. There are reports Yemen's president has fled to Saudi Arabia. His compound has come under rebel fire many times in the past couple weeks. The crisis in Yemen is at risk of spiraling out of control, with Iran and the U.S. backing different sides. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is in Switzerland today, set to resume nuclear talks as the deadline for a deal with Iran looms. Kerry is among many diplomats meeting with Iran. Officials close to the talks says some kind of agreement may be possible. The deadline for a preliminary nuclear deal is to be signed on Tuesday. To Vietnam now, where soldiers and police are searching for survivors after a huge scaffolding collapse killed 14 workers and injured 30 more. Military and police services joined in the rescue efforts in central Vietnam. Video from the scene shows rescue workers digging through the debris. 2 of the dead are reportedly still trapped under the rubble of the structure that collapsed on top of them. 2 young brothers are dead and a third wounded after a dinner with siblings turned violent near Tampa Bay, Florida.
Sadly, we talk about too many tragic situations that occur in Pasco County. I can say this one's a nightmare. This is a nightmare when you hear about the ages of these boys.
Authorities say an argument broke out over food when the 13-year-old grabbed a handgun and shot his brothers, then turned the gun on himself. Police found the children at home alone. The older brother was taken to a local hospital. His injuries are non-life-threatening. Reports say the children's mother was at work and a 4th son was not at home at the time. An event today of historical significance, King Richard III has finally been laid to rest 530 years after he was killed on the battlefield. Richard was reburied today in a somber ceremony at Leicester Cathedral. He's been portrayed through history as a villain and a tyrant, possibly responsible for the deaths of his young nephews who were in line for the throne. Among today's guests at the service was actor Benedict Cumberbatch, a distant cousin of Richard.
My bones, scripted in light upon cold soil, a human braille. My skull, scarred by a crown, emptied of history.
Richard's death ended the so-called War of the Roses. His remains were found in 2012 under a parking lot. The discovery was said to be one of the most significant archaeological finds in Britain's history. HUMBER'S Ultimate Talent Show is underway. Students have been performing all year, and today we finally got to see the best battle it out for this year's crown. Our reporter Marlene Gomez spoke with the VP of Student Life at the Lakeshore campus, Dylan Rutter.
How did you guys come up with the 15 candidates? How did that happen?
Okay, so usually every month we have open mic night, and at open mic night, myself at the Lakeshore campus, I'll choose 2 people that I feel have with the best performance of the night. And the same thing would happen at North Campus. Ahmed here, the vice president here, we choose 2 as well. So best performance of the night, pretty much.
So when we say talent, what kind of talent? I mean, I know they're going to be singing and dancing, but what are you guys looking for as far as the winner goes?
I think audience engagement and really getting the audience involved and owning whatever they do, whether it's singing, dancing, drumming, poetry. I think just getting the audience just feeling what they're doing and relating to what they're doing, I think that's really very important. So.
It may not feel like it today, but summer is around the corner. That means it's festival season and people are getting ready to dance, sing, and shout. Our reporter Celia Grimbley has the details.
Thousands and thousands of people every spring and summer strap on their sandals and groove their way to concerts all over the world. And this week, 3 popular music festivals close to home announced their lineups, and the tickets are hot. Lollapalooza in Chicago has already sold out of their general admission passes. Osheaga in Montreal and the Ottawa Blues Fest still have tickets available, but it won't be long before the chance to go is gone. Students are some of the most common festival goers, so I put them behind the mic and asked what's so great about concerts in the summer.
It's the vibrations you get off, you know what I mean? It's like that whole vibe of like the whole, it's a crowd, and then everyone's just on that same tip, they're all just loving the same music, right?
I mean, it's just positive vibes as soon as you get in.
As soon as you walk in, you feel the vibe coming off from other people, and especially in the summer because you don't have to worry about bringing your winter jacket or anything. You're there to have fun, and you're so carefree, and everyone is exactly the same way too, and just like the music is so awesome, and you just have a great time overall.
Like, I'm one of those people too who I won't look who's on stage, I'll close my eyes and I'll just see it all in my mind. And I'll see the sounds all in there and I'll make my own pictures and stuff.
You're free to go walk around, go meet new people. I think it's overall just the positivity.
I think people enjoy it because it's an excuse to party in the sun all day and listen to great music.
Summers are so short here, so these kind of things make it more fun. So that's why I think people get more excited about these things.
I think all study and no enjoyment will make a Jack a dull boy, so it's good to enjoy. And music is something which give you a peace of mind, which give you peace and everything, so it's better. We should enjoy our summer vacations. Thank you.
But not everyone has good things to say about music festivals.
The reason I hate music festivals is because most of the times during festivals there's always problems. There's unfortunate tragedies that happen. Most of the times kids die.
Whatever the reason you might be attending these festivals this summer, whether it's good music or good vibes, be sure to be safe. Celia Grimbley, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Shai Williamson will have your 3-day forecast.
April showers are coming a little bit early this year, guys. We'll have more, including your 3-day forecast, coming up after the break.
But first, Brazil's biggest city welcomes a new daycare, but not any ordinary one. The growing trend of doggy daycare has brought pets and owners to Sao Paulo. Indoor and outdoor swimming pools, treadmills, and physiotherapists make for a full day of relaxation. But the owners and their dogs get much more than their money. The dogs are on nutritional, fitness, and hygiene plans. Owners can also tune into video of their dogs broadcast live from the center.